Well, tonight on To The Point, we discuss just how important harmony is at that level of family. And so we'll be having, relationship coach as well as a counseling psychologist that they will help us to decipher this and just understand what is this one factor of harmony, or perhaps numerous of them, that are going to help us make sure that we maintain the family unit. Because as they would rightfully say, we are worried the number of divorce cases that are shooting up, not just in the country, but across the globe. Yet this one factor of harmony could help us change the game. That's what we'll be discussing this evening. Welcome on board. It is a TV47 Weekend Edition, and precisely to the point, we'll be looking at that, even as we are all excited to see what the AFCON game is going to be and who is going to take the glory home. My name is Linda Alela. I'm looking forward to that conversation. Like I have said, we'll be having doctors, that is Jane Kimani as well as Julius Kimani, and also Grace Destiny, who's a counseling psychologist, a conversation that you do not want to miss out on. But before then, allow us to take a look at the highlights. Tonight, over 600 people are believed to have ingested contaminated meat in Kanguku, Murang'a County after feasting on a local farmer's dead cow.
Watu wakaona ati ni vyema tu, sio baya, wakaona ni vizuri tu tuende kukula hiyo ng'ombe.
6 accident victims of the Nyahururu crash laid to rest in Sumba ceremony. And finally, who gets the bragging rights of African football? The final of the AFCON soccer tournament, scheduled to be played tonight at the Stade Olympique Alassane Ouattara. Welcome back to the broadcast. TV47 Weekend Edition begins right now, and to the point, we'll be getting to that important conversation. As I have said, later on, sign language interpreter is Rhoda Nyamai, and my name is Linda Alela. But first, let's look at what is in the world of news. And we start off with some bit of politics, as a Wiper Party leader Kalonzo Musyoka has today led the Azimio la Umoja, that is brigade, to castigate the Kenya Kwanza government for the high cost of living. Kalonzo, who was accompanied by the Azimio leaders, attended service in 2 churches, that is in Meru, where he also blamed the Kenya Kwanza government administration for failing to keep the promises made during the campaigns, as George Maringa now tells us.
The Azimio la Umoja coalition has hit out at the Kenya Kwanza administration once again, this time chaperoned by Wiper Party leader Kalonzo Musyoka. Come Sunday, Kalonzo Musyoka pitched camp in the Mount Kenya East region, specifically Meru County, a tour he said would begin Wiper Party's Meru takeover. The former vice president attended 2 services, the first at ACK Nchoe in Muthara and later at AIPCA Kiengo in Igembe Central. According to Kalonzo, the Kenya Kwanza government has held MPs hostage.
Already parliament umetekwa nyara, lakini wale timu Azimio ambao mesalia, kaini strong, mpinge kabisa mswada huu ambao unaletwa ati housing bill. Nimelala Embu, nimeamka Embu, nikaonyesha housing, inaitwa affordable housing. Nyumba moja pale 4.something million. Private sector already are building in huko pande Athi River kwingine at 2.9 million. Na watu wanaajiriwa kazi kwa wingi. Serikali haiwezi kuwa inajihusisha kwa mambo ya private business. It cannot work.
As he conveyed his condolence message following the passing on of former Tanzania's presidential candidate Edward Lowassa, Kalonzo castigated the attacks on the Chief Justice.
Chief Justice Martha Koome alipatia watu wa Kenya serikali, sisi tulikuwa tumepinga. Akatoa uamuzi, hatukukubaliana nao, lakini tukaajibika. Sasa siingiliwe tena. Chief Justice Martha Koome ni mtoto wa Meru. Ni kweli si kweli? Wengine wanasema ni kama wanataka kufanya mswada watoe Martha Koome. Tutaandamana mpaka Maua, mpaka Sekuru, mpaka Meru, Mutindo, hiyo yote Kakoromoni. Hatutakubali mambo hayo. Kwa hivyo hiyo tunasema hiyo story ikome, because you cannot do that.
Other leaders who accompanied Kalonzo are former CS and PNU party leader Peter Munya, former CS and DAPK party leader Eugene Wamalwa, and former Nyeri Deputy Governor Dr. Caroline Karogo. They threw their weight behind Kalonzo's presidential bid, saying he will be the solution to the challenges facing Kenyans. Their remarks coming a day after Azimio la Umoja leader Raila Odinga said he has no problem supporting Kalonzo Musyoka's presidential bid.
Then how are we going to change our country? We'll only do so if we can get the right leadership in place. Hiyo ndio leo nataka niwaambie Wakristo wetu wa Nchui, muko na hiyo timu hapa na hamuna habari. That team is here in Nchui today in Meru, na sisi tunataka mfungue macho na muweze kuiona. Wale mmejua Bwana Munya, you know his record. Wale mmejua Bwana Kalonzo miaka hii yote amekuwa serikalini, you know his record.
Tunataka hiyo itatuliwe. Na wale wataweza hiyo, mimi naona tu ni Azimio, timu ya Azimio ambayo iko hapa leo kiongozwa na Mheshimiwa Kalonzo Musyoka. Mipango iko, thinking is there, watu ambao wana utaalamu huo huko. Lakini wale wako saa hii, clearly you can see agenda yao kuongeza mifuko yao.
Bishop, niko hapa kutubu dhambi za watu wa Central. Watu wa Central ndio wamekuwa, ukisikia maneno ya mlima Kenya ni mbaya, sio wote. Sisi ndio tunaanzanga huko, na Bishop utuombee sana, tuko hapa kutubu, tunasema hatutarudia tena. Sisi ni wale watu walikuwa wanasema dhuraku kumera, na ile hiyo ni kumaanisha dhuraku ni siafu. Saa hii ile kitu iko dhuraku kwa maisha yetu ni mashida na kilio.
Meru Senator and Deputy Senate Speaker Kathuri Murungi opined that the opposition ought to give the Kenya Kwanza administration more time to fulfill their promises. He was speaking at EAPC Bethsaida Church in Karama, Meru County.
This is not the time for politics. Sababu saa hii rais amechukua uongozi wani yangu. Saa hii tumeanza kula. Ati nini tutafanya namna hii, tutaenda mrengo huu. The president is very busy. Na mimi I want to advise him asiingie mambo ya siasa ama kurudishania siasa na wale watu wa kupinzani.
George Maringa, TV47.
All right, Murang'a County leaders led by Senator Joe Nyutu and Kiharu, Member of Parliament, that is Nini Nyoro, joined St. Peter's Gaitega Cathedral Parish of the Catholic Diocese of Murang'a Sunday morning for a requiem mass of 6 members. Let's take a look at that.
Na sisi tunaona kwamba jambo lile ni la huzuni sana. Kile ambacho ningetaka kuomba ni kwamba NTSA wale waliopatiwa jukumu la kuhakikisha kwamba magari yote yanayosafiri katika barabara za nchi yetu ya Kenya kwamba yako katika hali inayofaa kuwa barabarani. Kwa kimombo ni road worthiness.
Kuna kitu inaitwa black spot katika barabara. Mimi ningeomba wataalamu wa barabara waangalie kama hiyo pahali pengine imefika category ya kuitwa black spot, kwa sababu hatungetaka tupate maneno kama hii around the same area any other time.
Some families were involved in a road accident that costed us more than 10 lives. Mimi sitaki kukashifu mambo ya barabara. Mimi sitaki kukashifu niseme kwamba ati ni dereva alifanya nini wa trailer. Yesu naambiwa ni dereva wa trailer alipotea kwa njia. Lakini sisi tunataka kusema Mungu atakuwa na sisi na atatembea na sisi na ataendelea kukutupea nguvu.
May their souls rest in eternal peace. Now, 435 rolls of bang have been impounded, as well as nabbed, and 2 suspects apprehended in Mtwapa, that is Kilifi County, during a raid that was done last night by Nakada under tight security, that is from police officers led by the Nakada CEO, Dr. Anthony Omerikwa. Well, the officers had stormed a residential building following a tip from the concerned public. The marijuana is alleged to have been transported, that is from Migori County, by a distributor who's under investigation by authorities. Nakada are calling upon political leaders to embrace their sensitization role, that is on drug abuse, while the parents have been urged to provide proper guidance to their children. The 2 suspects will then be investigated and arraigned in court for prosecution.
We were able to apprehend 2 individuals. One we suspect is a seller or distributor. The other one we assume is a consumer or user, or maybe a conveyor, because he had come to this establishment to buy a roll or 2, allegedly. And we also have apprehended his mode of conveying. There's a motorbike out here that he came with. What I'd like to implore upon Kenyans is that please share information. We've had a word with one of the parents who lives around this area, and he has given us a very profound story on how these drugs have affected his son. Indeed, it is very unfortunate that these illegal drugs continue to be distributed amongst our youth and people living around this area.
Mtoto wangu ameanguka wazimu kwa ajili ya madawa kulevya. Alikuja, amesomea London University, Birmingham University, akirudi kwa sababu alikuwa hapa, akaungana na jamaa wa kuuza haya maneno, na kilichotokea alianguka wazimu. Kwa hivyo twaomba serikali yetu izidi kuwapa support. Wasifunge jicho moja, wafungue macho mawili serikali. Muwapatie support, wafagie uchafu, na inshallah Mungu aweze kutubariki na watoto wetu waweze kuacha hii mihadarati, kwa sababu mihadarati imetuharibia watoto.
Now, a heavy rainstorm has caused an estimated loss of up to 100 million Kenyan shillings at St. Peter's Primary School, that is in Narok Town. The evening pour that took close to an hour saw hailstorm and strong winds, which blew up rooftops of 2 classes and a staff room up to 600 meters away into nearby Sisters Convent, luckily with no injuries reported. Most of the blew-off iron sheets were seen spread all over the compound. Naked electricity cables and 20 fallen trees that would have caused a disaster to the 1,200 pupils and 50 teachers were at a busy weekday. The school's board of management, county government officials, the Kenya Red Cross and school's head teacher visited the institution to assess the damage, to safeguard exposed property and as well to recommend measures.
Like upepo mkali ambao ulivuma ukaharibu shule yetu. Madarasa yameharibiwa hivi mnavyoona hapa nyuma. Madarasa yameharibiwa mengi, yameathiriwa shule nzima. Vile vile tuliweza kuathiriwa sababu ya upepo, huo upepo ukaharibu mpaka stima ya shule, na vile vile ikaharibu miti mingi. Kadri ya miti 20 iko chini hapa shuleni. Kwa sababu madarasa haya yameathirika, madarasa yote ya shule nzima, nadhani takriban milioni 100 zinaweza kuwa zitatumika ili kuweza kutengeneza shule, madarasa, pamoja na kuweka landscaping ya miti pale, ili landscaping ya ground.
So leo tumekuja kufanya assessment ndio tuone venye tunaweza saidia hii shule na hizo institutions zingine zimeathirika. Kama kawaida tuko na watu wa Red Cross, huwa tunashirikiana kwa ukaribu, tunafanya kazi pamoja. So tumekuja tu kufanya assessment, then kesho tutakaa kwa committee. Tuko na County Disaster Management Committee which is chaired by the county governor na county commissioner, so that kesho tunaweza kaa tuangalie, tutume watu wakuje wa assess, watu wa public works wa assess waangalie. So we are going to respond on this like a multi agency because it's affecting many institutions. then tutaona msaada ambayo tutasaidia hii shule ili watoto waendelee kusoma.
And in Athi River town, that is Machakos County, a group of former street boys and elderly men have formed groups to assist the county government of Machakos in solid waste management, a venture that earns them an income for themselves. This comes with the backdrop of environmental pollution, particularly solid waste management, that is emerging as a major challenge in the war against climate change. Our reporter Nicholas Mbai details.
On any common day, you will meet these young men in Mlolongo area pulling a donkey-driven cart on their daily route to collect garbage from the streets of the town.
Kwa sababu hatuna uwezo wa kuendea takataka pale ndani. Kuna mahali streets ni mbaya sana. Hata malori hasiwezi ingia hapo. Hapo ndio sisi tuenda na mikokoteni.
Their efforts are part of the global effort to deal with the issue of solid waste management, which leads to increased environmental pollution.
If we don't treat the environment well this time, it will also treat us badly in the years to come. So if we are talking about solid waste, we need it to be put in the right area.
At a small fee of Kenya shillings 50 a month per household, these young men and elderly men serve as grassroots garbage collectors, collecting garbage from households using donkey carts, later delivering the garbage to county collection lorries on Monday, Wednesday and Fridays.
Hapo ndio sisi huenda na mikokoteni. Tunatoa takataka huko ndani, na tukishatoa hapo tunaleta kwa lori ya county.
Wakati county imetuletea hizi mangari, tunasaidika sana. Tunajipatia chakula ya kila siku, tunasomesha watoto wetu, tunalinda manyumba zetu.
But their efforts are not without challenges.
Tunajaribu kuwalipisha lakini hawataki kulipa. Hata wengine wako na miezi 5, miezi 6 bila kulipa. Lakini tunajaribu tu tuone kama wametulipa.
According to Mavoko municipality officials, garbage collection has been an uphill task for them, as many count government in major towns.
Mavoko is densely populated. We are talking of about above 300,000 people. So waste generation is very high. We are receiving big volumes of waste every single day. The big challenge I would say is illegal dumping.
In Athi River Market, we meet the Market Association chairperson who has this to say of solid waste management.
Tuwe na leo tingatinga at least thrice ama twice a week. Ndio at least iwe inapita huko katikati, chafu yote inatupa pale.
According to Machakos CCM for Lands and Urban Planning Nathaniel Nganga, with such initiatives, Machakos County is on the right track to manage solid waste management.
We are targeting that in a year or two, we shall have a massive cleanup day where we will be doing cleanup everywhere. But you also need to know that lazima tuwazoeze wananchi wetu, sababu wananchi wa Kenya hawajazoea kufanya kazi kwa bure. Kila siku kumuita aje kazi wanakuuliza basi iko wapi maziwa.
Nicholas Mbai reporting for TV47.
Great initiative there. Now, job cuts have become a topic of great interest lately, with many issues forcing companies to lay off their employees in the middle of a tough economic situation. Today, we take a look at the complicated decisions that lead to job cuts and what is in store for companies after job cuts, as Natasha Wairimu probes.
Layoffs are more than just financial transactions. They are also calculated moves that play a significant role in employee welfare, corporate responsibility, and the largest socio-economic factors. Now, in an ever-changing corporate landscape, we want to find out, when companies are grappled by financial restrictions, are layoffs really the end game?
Layoffs are situations where an organization comes to a decision where there are certain roles that are declared redundant.
There are many factors that can cause a company to lay off its employees, a key factor being lack of assessment of risks, as the official receiver tells us.
Companies, mainly it's a borrowing issue. The second thing is a lack of corporate governance. Maybe you are just trading, most of your employees are basically relatives. Basically, another thing I've seen in companies is mainly fraud. The other issue is, I think, lack of assessment of risk in terms of when you are borrowing and the kind of risks you can take.
In the context of the technology space, where human capital is often considered a primary asset, I sought to find out how companies can integrate human capital and technology without sacrificing human capital.
A team, first of all, in line of that technology, without making them feel insecure that there'll be that technology to take up their job. So skilling is very important, and also upskilling for such kind of job opportunities.
The business environment has been a headwind when we take a look at the cost of operating business. The government is currently looking forward to introduce performance-linked incentives that will help companies stay afloat.
We are also focusing on coming up with performance-linked incentives. You are aware that right now we have a program where we are meeting all the private sector to discuss their issues, the cost of business issues, and to see how we can intervene to reduce the cost. Maybe it can be either cost of taxation or cost of capital or cost of all the cost of energy.
We have delved into the ethical considerations surrounding layoffs and how organizations grapple with the tension between short-term financial gains and the long-term responsibility to maintain a motivated and vibrant workforce, as companies have been urged to deploy sustainable strategies.
However, it's not the end game in such a way that I believe organizations that are able to evolve and are able to take up new strategies, they'll be able to avoid situations where they're in a position where they have to lay off.
For TV47, I am Natasha Wairimu.
Thank you, Natasha, for that report. Now, Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua intends to meet Kenya Tea Development Agency early next week in a push to increase tea earnings for small-scale farmers in response to the appreciating US dollar against the Kenyan shilling. The Deputy President says that the government is already seized of the matter to ensure the high exchange rate of the dollar must match in the earnings of the tea farmers. Speaking on Saturday in Kigumo, Murang'a County, the Deputy President called out the judiciary for stopping implementation of the government-led reforms in the tea subsector and delaying determination of the legal dispute that was filed at court in 2020. The Deputy President was tasked by President William Ruto to lead reforms in tea, coffee and dairy subsectors with a key agenda of weeding out cartels across the value chain for farmers to earn more money.
And I want to appeal to the judiciary. Those tea reforms were so well crafted, they would have sorted out all problems. The judges, without listening the other side of the story, just listening one side, wameenda wamesimamisha. So I'm going to call a meeting of KTDA on Tuesday morning at 8:30. We sit down, we look at the numbers. What is the rate ya dollar? Calculator iko nitanulia mawe mpya. Ndio isifanye makosa, si ndio? We are going to align it. Mtaniwachia hiyo maneno? Mnaniamini mimi? We will align it. There is no way we can have a fixed rate. We have a free economy. We'll be paid at the existing rate of the dollar on that particular day.
All right, well, away from that, and several people from, that is 5 villages in Kahumbu ward within Kigumo constituency in Murang'a are admitted in different hospitals, while others have been treated and discharged after feasting on meat from a cow that was suspected to have died of anthrax. Well, earlier last week, one of the Christopher's Ngugi's cow died of suspected polythene bag ingestion and was given a clean bill of health by the local vet and immediately butchered and sold to locals. However, when a second cow died yesterday and the feasting began, it was not business as usual, with locals pouncing on the cheap meat before it was cleared by the vet. The locals then immediately began manifest symptoms of a mysterious disease with blisters and wounds on their limbs. Several dogs that ate the meat and bones from the sick cow have also died, while farmers from the affected villages have been advised not to drink or sell milk from their animals. The victims have been treated at Murang'a Level 5 Hospital Sabasaba Health Center and Mugoini Dispensary, among other health facilities, with one patient undergoing treatment at Maragua Level 4 Hospital. As estimated, 600 people are suspected to have eaten the meat.
Mzee wangu akakuja akakuta ng'ombe yangu ishaanguka kwa, na hapo tukachukua hatua ya kuita watu wakakuja wakaona inaelekea kufa, iko karibu kukufa, ndio walichukua hatua ya kuichija ndio tujue ni nini. Hapo tukaita daktari wa private akakuja akaangalia, akasema ati kitu yemenyetolewa sio mbaya, watu wanaweza endelea kukula. Saa kama maguo na makaratasi hivi kwa tubo. Saa kutoka hapo watu wakaona ati ni vyema tu, sio baya, wakaona ni vizuri tu tuende kukula hiyo ng'ombe.
Mimi ndiye nilichukua hiyo kichwa ya hiyo ng'ombe, watu walikula, na kutoka hapo nikachemsha supu, watu wakakunywa, watu kama 300 hivi. Haya, wengine walibeba na vibuyu wakapeleka huko nyumbani. Haya, na hofia hao watu juu walikunywa supu, wanaweza kuwa wagonjwa, so watembee hospitali.
Mimi niliitwa kwa boma, nikaambiwa ng'ombe ya mama Ann imechinjwa, akaniambia nikuje nimsaidie kazi. Sasa vile nilikuja kumsaidia kazi ya kukatakata nyama ya wachinjaji. Alafu sasa tukajua, nikamuuliza tutauza bei gani. Yeye mwenyewe akaniambia atauzia watu 400 ndio watu wakule yote ndio iisha, sababu ilikuwa ng'ombe kubwa. Sasa tulifurahia sisi watu wa kijiji kukula hii nyama na 400 na